Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. This is Anna Bazarne. I am a founder of Maitri Verde. And this is my first Facebook Live recording that I'm going to do in a series of different discussions regarding the empowerment and healing that we sometimes are not aware that we are capable of. So today I'm going to talk about the cycles in life, and how we can be stuck, and what can we do about this? How can we evaluate if we are stuck, and what are those mysterious cycles in life, and how this concept can be applied to basically everything, every aspect of your life. And before we move on, I want to touch bases a little bit. What inspired me to start doing this series is I constantly talk to my clients, to my friends, to family members, to customers in the store, and many of them are not aware how powerful they actually are, and they feel that they have no control to change anything, that the reality is fixed, and they are basically like the victims of destiny, and there is nothing that can be done, and they're completely at the mercy of circumstances, and in many cases at the mercy of the doctors, especially if they're suffering from severe physical or mental illness. And I started talking to them, and I'm sometimes surprised how people are not aware of how many changes they can basically make in their life if they choose to. And I want to touch bases a little bit of what is a reality and what is your attitude towards life. How do you treat life? Is it something that is carved in stone, that you inherited and you basically go through day to day, having no control about the future and basically just waiting for things to unfold for you? Is that how it is? Or do you know, and the most important question is, do you know what you want? And without even thinking how is it possible to achieve, is it doable or not, but just in general, do you know what you want? Because if you don't know that, then for sure it may be difficult or even seems impossible to believe that you are in charge of your life and you're in charge of making decisions and making choices. And this is all about the choice to be willing to admit that something is not working in your life, and to admit, yes, this is not the dream, this is not the best dream for me. I want to dream a different reality. And believe me, it's possible. And if you have a good start, if you plant the seed correctly in the beginning of the cycle, then you enter the full circle, and you end up with a harvest of what you actually planted with a big awareness and with a clear vision of what you are trying to achieve. So let me see what yeah, so everything in life is cyclical, if you think about it. And so one of the most popular hi Olga, good to see you. One of the popular and most famous cycle is the year. So we go through the 12 months, and then the new year come, and we are fully aware of this, and we keep a track of a year. And when the year ends, the new one begins. This is crystal clear. Then we have other cycle, and yeah, in a year we go through the circle of the 12 zodiac signs. That has its own flavor and story with it, and then we finish it and we begin the new cycle. So we then day and night is another pretty well-known cycle, and we have no stress and no fear about it. When the day ends, the night comes. When the night comes, the day comes. Same with the years. And but other cycles, and especially the cycle of life, when you think about death, brings extra anxiety, and we try to, I don't know, to grasp onto certain things or accumulate some things that are not actually necessary for our happiness. So clarity is the key, and if something is not working, always know that you can change, and change basically everything. Another popular cycle that actually our ancestors were looking at to bring some kind of a stability into a pretty dangerous world they've been living in is the moon cycle. So every 28, 29 days, there's a complete darkness, the stage of the dark moon. Then the crescent moon appears, and the moon begins to grow, and it reaches its peak on the full moon, and then it starts to wane down, and then we're back to the dark moon. So understanding this cycle, and there's that at the end of one cycle another one will begin, can bring some some tranquility in a way. And just being aware where you are in the cycle can help you to navigate and understand, basically, if you are stuck, because you know which stage is supposed to come next, and if it's not coming, that means that you are not moving and you're not flowing through life. So I want to talk about the cycles on the example of probably the most familiar and the more tangible, I would say, example of the cycle of the 4 seasons of the year: the spring, the summer, fall, and winter. And well, before I go to the cycles, I just want to say, yes, so we go through the cycle. There is a beginning and the end, and sometimes we get stuck. What does it mean that we get stuck? That means that we're not moving, that the energy is not moving. And when the energy is not moving, that means that there is a stagnation, and we feel unsynchronized with life. We feel unhappy, unfulfilled, and we are pretty much aware when things are not moving the way we want, or just moving in general. There is some this uncomfortable place of almost confusion or lethargy that is happening. And being stuck, feeling stuck, can be experienced on the physical level when you feel heavy, depressed, unmotivated, lacking energy or motivation to go through and accomplish whatever that is in your life. And the feeling stuck can be experienced as a tremendous mental confusion and lack of focus and direction, when you basically jump from one thing to another, not sure how to set the priorities, not really focusing on anything, and then nothing moves forward. And this is a very uncomfortable place to be as well. And another aspect of feeling stuck, or another manifestation of being stuck, is being in fear, or being in judgment. We often get stuck because of the fear, and it can be fear of the unknown, which is very understandable. It can be fear of the success. It can be fear of rejection. It can be fear of failure, fear of change, and fear of letting go of the known, because and to go beyond your comfort zone, because sometimes, yes, we want more, but it brings the factor of the unknown that scares us. And sometimes we prefer to stay in the known, even if it doesn't really work for us. It takes a lot of courage and basically, courage to admit that you are stuck, and courage to basically being willing to ask for help and search for help and choose in which way the help may come. And this is, again, this is where the understanding in which stage of the cycle you're stuck can bring a solution, what exactly can be done to move you forward. and bring you back into the flow of life, that you are moving forward, you are growing, you're developing, the seeds that you planted are growing, and you are going to the stage of harvest soon and celebration. So now let me begin explaining and talking about the cycles. So as I said, today we're looking at the wheel, I would say, or the circle or the cycle, and the example of the seasons. And first, let's begin with the spring and the direction of the east. This is a place of the new beginnings, inspiration, and of opportunity to plant something new. And if you don't plant a seed, you can't expect anything to grow. And this is where the stuck place can come with the thoughts like, I don't really know what to plant, and I don't know what to grow. I don't know how to grow. I don't know if I'm good at it. I don't know if I'm a good gardener, blah, blah, blah. But to think about this stage as simply inspirational stage and stage of planning and deciding and choosing what you want. And you can plan anything you want. And on the personal level, this stage is mega important, because this is the time to understand how well you are connected to yourself, how well you know yourself. Who are you? What do you want, and where do you want to go? Because if you don't know where you're going, you may not like where you end up. So be clear, be honest, and be creative. At this stage, don't even think how you're gonna accomplish what you plan for. This is a time of getting the ideas from. It's a blank slate. Just imagine that everything is possible. What would that be? What would your life be in a year, in 10 years, in 25 years? And you can think about this aspect in basically everything in your life, in relationship, in job, in your healing. What is this that you want to change in your life? And don't be judgmental. Be just be creative. Imagine that you have a magic wand, and you're basically starting to write a list. What do you want? So don't limit yourself. Be creative. Be proactive. And so this is the spring for you. And then we go into the summer and the direction of the south. And this stage can be described as taking care, support, protection, and nurturing the seeds that we planted in spring. And summer is always a beautiful time when everything is in bloom. The flowers are blooming. We have the support of the warm weather, the rays of sunlight, and warm wind on our skin. It's time of social gathering, of kind of being together, working together, and going on vacations, going on picnics. So this is a time of nurturing and taking care of the garden that you planted, but also it's time of being in the community and being supported and also giving support. It's about friendship, it's about collaborations, it's about your tribe. And on a personal stage, this is where you evaluate your own resources, your abilities, what you know, what you don't know, the necessary research that you need to do, the tools you may need to buy or gather, and also help and support of people that you trust, or your guardians or the spirit guides. It's basically support and nurture on all levels. And it's fun, it's joy, it's very expressive and expansive times. It's fiery. It's beautiful. So this is our summer, and after summer we move to the stage of fall. And this is interesting because fall is complex time. It is dual in a way. It's the time when we gather the harvest and enjoy the beauty. This is where our seeds actually come to the manifestation, and we basically celebrate our achievements and how our ideas, how our seeds that were nurtured and spent so much time, energy, and love on, how they actually turn out. And we celebrate the harvest no matter what. And this is the tricky part, is to basically see the beauty of the pure manifestation of what you planted a long time ago, and opportunity to look at what you've achieved from a standpoint of life lessons. So instead of judging and counting, I don't know, mistakes or thinking what could be done better, it's very helpful to basically count the pluses and evaluate what actually was done correctly, and just acknowledge all the efforts that you've been through, and all this energy that went into making this seeds germinate, grow, and manifest into something that the results that you see now. So this is the harvest aspect of the fall, of the cycle. And fall is the direction of the west, and the time of the day which corresponds to the sunset. So we're preparing, I would say, to go into winter. So it's time to let go as well. And the best example I can give from nature, because I always see the inspiration in nature, is the leaves on the trees that they were so prolific. They lived their life, and now they're changing the color, and they're ready to actually fall down. But there is no resistance and there is no fear on the side of nature regarding this process. It basically knows that the next year will come and the new leaves will grow. And there is such a beauty of this last expression of the leaves in fall, when they're changing color, when they're yellow, red, and then they fall, and they actually are becoming something else. After they fall down, they are preparing to be a mulch, to be a compost that will nurture and ignite, I would say, and spark and provide nutrition for the seeds that will be planted and germinate in the next cycle, in the next year. So yeah, fall is a beautiful time. There's not really a sadness. It's more a time of gratitude. It's time of humble gratitude, and also a celebration of achievements. Seeing what manifested, and at the same time celebrate, see the beauty, but prepare to let go. Everything has the beginning and the end, and in this cycle we are moving close to the end, and we are basically closing the cycle. So there could be a sense of sadness, but it's important to watch out for resistance and grabbing into something that is known and being attached to the result that we have in our hands, and think that this is the only one that is possible, because it's not true. And as I said, when the leaves fall down, they are preparing to be a nutrition for something that you are about to plant in the next cycle. So after the fall, gratitude for what you accomplished, celebration, and letting go. So we're moving into the winter and the direction of the north. It is the time of hibernation, when the fallen leaves are actually laying dormant under the deep level of snow, and they're transforming into they're becoming compost, the mulch that will initiate the new cycle. And winter is the time to go within, to rest and to collect power and gather energy for the next cycle. It's allowing things to settle down, and basically it's empowering yourself through hibernation. And it sounds counterintuitive in our high-paced world, and so often we have a tendency to skip the rest and relax stage, and very often we just want to wrap up the project, this stage in our life, the relationship, and just jump into the new one without allowing ourselves to rest, to reflect on the previous cycle and give it a time to basically settle down in your head, and getting the understanding of of what was accomplished, what were the life lessons, what worked and what didn't, and where do we want to go. And very important aspect is allowing yourself to rest. And if you think about the winter and this last stage, the hibernation, it's similar to our sleep at night. We're active during the day, but when the night comes, we know that we need to sleep. And during the sleep, our body restores, we collect the energy, and most importantly, we process all the information that we gather during the day, during our daily activity, and we process it, and it is time to actually communicate with your subconscious through the dreams, for example. And how many times we just wake up fresh with a new solution, a new direction, or just an insight. And how many times we have prophetic dreams, or just have such a dream that has an impact on how we proceed with our life, or just bring attention to something from the physical to emotional level, how we are in the world. So this is so here we end up the discussion of the cycle in general. So yeah, after and one important aspect is not to forget that every cycle is not the circle that we end up and nothing else begins. It's always it's a continuation. And sometimes in some traditions they look at the cycles not like as a circle, but, which is also infinite if you think about it, but as a spiral. The spiral that is a stack, I would say, of circles. But when one comes to the end, it actually goes upper and to the next level. And this is how we, move through our life. And I think it takes a little bit of pressure in terms of, takes the pressure off in terms of, oh my God, it's going to end. We're all gonna die. Everything's gonna be finished. No. When one door closes, another opens. So a fresh start and fresh opportunity always is, available. So again, if you think about this cycle, it's very, very important to understand at which cycle you may be stuck. And I talked about it earlier of different stage of the cycle has its own flavor. So for example, the spring, the beginning, do you know what are you planting? Do you know where are you going and what do you want to achieve? Because very often we plant the wrong seeds, and we basically choose something that we want to become based on somebody else's life and experience. We basically want to become somebody else and not us. So if we plant and we get inspiration from somebody else's ideas or somebody else's life, but the problem is, if you plant somebody else's seeds, you don't know how to take care of them, and you're not really sure what are you growing. So you may be shocked in one of the further stages is either you have no idea how to nurture or take care of your garden and this stranger seeds, or in fall the harvest may be not what you expected, and it can be ugly, it can be uneatable, it can be completely damaging for you. So yeah, make sure when you plan something, make sure that it's yours. And this is where the deep inner work comes in. And it is about complete knowledge about yourself. And I want to say that this is the first video in a series where I want to go through the full cycle and of basically of your life and how to apply these different stages and the theory of cycles and the wheel on basically everything in your life and how to help you. So together we will go through the full cycle, and we will start from the east and from the spring and the seeds, and I will be giving some tools and recommendations and some suggestions what can be done so that you enter this stage and go through this stage successfully. It doesn't matter if it's in relationship of your work or life, or it is something that needs to be healed, but it's basically a stage of deep connection to yourself. And it's kind of in a borderline of winter and spring and this hibernation when you process what's going on with you and and the results of the previous cycles. But also, yeah, it is a blank slate. And again, what is this in your life that you are either not aware or you are ignoring? Or sometimes you know that you're stuck, but you don't know where to get support and how to move from that stuck space. So there's a lot of information to cover, and unfortunately I can't fit it all in one video, even in two or three. So we'll move gradually and it will unfold, and I encourage to ask questions. What would you like to know? Where are you stuck in where you think you're stuck in the cycles? And I will, the goal of this series is to basically give you tools and explain that you have power. When you know what is possible and how to do it, sky is the limit. And believe me, there's a lot that you can do, and there's a lot of amazing help out there. Now, one thing is your willingness, and second is to find which remedy, which direction, which technique is actually needed and most beneficial for you. So the first stage, again, being like knowing what you want and where are you going, and being creative and being true to yourself and being honest. Just decide what exactly do you want. Nobody else. Don't think about anybody else, anything else, or how you're going to achieve. Then the second stage is nurturing. And questions that you can ask yourself and reflect on: do you have enough support? Do you have enough knowledge in every aspect, or whatever aspect you choose to reflect on? Do you have your tribe? Do you have people that that support you, that nurture you? Are you a good support and nurture for those to whom you committed? Yeah, is there anything that you can learn how to grow your garden better? All this is deeply related to the second stage and how you can be stuck there. You may not be able to move forward simply because you don't feel supported, or you don't have resources, or you don't have correct employees. There are many aspects that can be related to this stage, and a lot that, again, you can actively do about changing the situation. Then the harvest time. Oh yeah, this is the stage where a lot of resistance and resentment and grudge and falling into position of victim may happen, and it's important to watch out and treat this stage as basically, yeah, enjoying what came to fruition and what was done wrong, but do it in a productive way. Don't judge, don't blame. It's basically a clear cause and result, cause and effect. That's it. Lesson learned. Next cycle. And what do you need to let go? And many people are stuck in this third stage of basically understanding that, okay, something got into this culmination. You have the harvest. What is this that is old already, because at the end of every cycle, you grow, you go into the different stage, I would say. And the old you is just you outlived and outgrew the container of the previous cycle. So something always need to be let go. And allowing this and not grasping into something that is fixed or you think will stay forever is mega important. And then when we go to winter, are you allowing yourself time to rest and to actually time to rest and time to go within? Do you have courage to go within? Because sometimes we don't want to face something, and even in instead of just understanding what the life lesson is and what kind of effect it had on us, we just try to forget and rush into the start fresh stage, which is not very supportive. And we need to be fair to our bodies, allowing ourselves time. And this is also a time for self-care and allowing your brain, your body, and your soul to actually rest. And again, prepare for the next stage, gather the energy, gather the juices, and gradually transition into the new cycle. And last thing that I want to say is to remember that cycles are continuous, and everything has its timing. So it's important to understand the sequence of every cycle too. So when there is time that is needed from the time you plant the seed to when it's going to when you're going to collect the harvest. You can be proactive and accelerate your life in terms of different practices that you do to be fully aware, to be in sync, to really be in control of all areas of your life, and move through each day basically waiting for this harvest to happen. But there is no shortcuts, and there are no cutting corners. You need to forget about the impatience, or how would I say it better? Actually being aware of impatience and allow the proper timing for everything to happen. And this is where sometimes we also can get stuck. It's like, why nothing is happening? Like, but maybe you are in a stage when you just planted the seed and you expect the results in a week later. Not gonna happen. And same if it's a stage of gathering information, nurturing, watering your garden. I keep talking about the garden because to me it's the best metaphor. And you are already preparing baskets for to collect the harvest, or getting ready to go to hibernation and start the new cycle. Guess what? Again, it's you're creating a mess, and you are basically putting yourself in a place of chaos and creating extra stress when it's not needed. So timing and sequence and allowing everything unfold at a certain time is the key. And another key is to basically have courage and allow time and allow yourself to reflect and see where you are in the cycle. Are you stuck or are you moving forward? And if you're stuck, don't rush. Don't rush to jump into another cycle or actually trace back. Just acknowledge. And from this standpoint, there may be directions that can be taken to get you out of the stagnation. And in the following videos, I'm going to explain, I'm going to move again, and as I said, from the spring and the time of actually deep connection to yourself and understanding your needs and wants. This is a big topic, and I will be covering things of what self-knowledge is and what techniques and what what is available out there, from reading your natal charts and knowing your natal charts and your north node and your karmic lesson, and basically your life purpose, defining your life purpose, seeing the obstacles that and your strengths and weaknesses, and basically turning weaknesses into your, like, treating them differently, and just understand that they are not your weaknesses. They are your, this is your flavor, basically. And by knowing and acknowledging what you're good at and what is not working for you that may be working for somebody else, how can it be used for your own, for your own good and for your highest self? And how can you be more connected to who you truly are inside, and how to stop being trying to be someone that you are not, just because you observe and you have a role model, or you have somebody whose life you admire, or who achieved something. But we're all unique and different, and just understanding this uniqueness and beginning to treat yourself with love and care, and treat yourself as just, imagine how a collector treats just one of a kind butterfly or a unique orchid. You are a unique orchid, and just because your shape, your flower petals are shaped differently from somebody else, and you're not a rose but an orchid, that's what makes you unique. And this is powerful. And many people actually think about their uniqueness and not fitting in as some kind of a curse or damage that they have. So I think this is a tremendously powerful exercise of getting to know yourself on the deepest level, and learning to accept yourself, and learning to understand what your needs are, and stop compromising. And you'll see how with time it becomes easier and easier. The more you know yourself, the more you apply this sincere wants and the sincere desires and dreams that you have, the easier it will be for you to know what you want, to plant those seeds. And then at the time of the harvest, you will receive something that is specifically tailor-made, designed for you, because you did it from the heart. You knew what you want. So you will receive something so delicious, so wonderful, that you will be fully satisfied. So I was rushing to do this Facebook Live this at the end of this week for a reason, because next week on July 2nd there is a big event coming up astrologically for us. It's a new moon and a total solar eclipse. So yes, this is powerful, and this is something that we can be proactive about, because eclipses and new moons in general are times of new beginnings and yeah, planting new seeds. But this is more for a cycle of the next month and one lunar cycle. But also when a new moon is combined with the total solar eclipse, wow, this is potent, and changes are going to happen, ready or not. And it's better to be ready and know what you would love to change and be proactive with what is showing up. That's why I deeply encourage you to reflect on all the areas of your life and see if you feel stuck somewhere. And I hope that the material that I covered in this video will help you to evaluate and look at, you can pick any aspect of your life and see in which stage of this cycle you are. And are you moving forward? Are you feeling stuck? Do you need some extra, modification on where you are? Can you be a little more proactive? And from this point, you can make changes and make some adjustments on the trajectory. And please use the energy of the next week, starting again. Well, we get into the eclipse windows that will open with the solar eclipse on July 2nd and end up with the lunar eclipse on, I believe, July 16th. So this is really powerful time, and it's not just one day or or a couple of hours. You have plenty of time, and the more prepared you are and the more you do the inventory of all aspects of your life and see where the modification and adjustment needed, the more you can use the energy of this time frame for your own benefits. And this is not something that you need to pay for. The energy is the stardust is out there, so just use it, tap in. And there are many techniques that are available, what you can do, and I will be posting a lot of suggested materials. Some of the really gifted healers are offering their either short courses or some doing some giveaways. And I would really love to talk about the self-knowledge, and if you and how you can benefit from doing certain readings for yourself and understanding in which stage astrologically of your life or in which cycle you are, and what you can proactively do to propel the needed changes. So stay tuned, and I think I covered everything that I wanted. Probably I forgot something, and please, if you want to ask something, do it now. I don't see any comments or questions. But if you think about something, if you later, just type your question, and I'll go back and respond to you in the comments, or you can write me a direct message. So yeah, I don't see any questions. And yeah, I hope you find time to replay the video and understand it better. And yeah, I will be looking forward to your questions, and I hope to see you live or in the comments on my Facebook page at Maitri Verde. And please feel free to visit my website, which is maitriverde.com. I'm modifying the offerings right now because my personal healing journey and my career, and working and listening to my clients actually allowed me to understand what people really need and how I can be best at service, and how I can help more people and make sure that the best possible results are achieved. So thank you for showing up live. I really appreciate seeing your faces. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Tanichka. Thank you, Nikki. It's a pleasure to see you. And I hope to see you live, or yeah, I'll see you in the comments. Have a beautiful day, and happy Friday.